Hey guys, what's up? Doing another one. Um, Earlier I was watching a video by Zena Jones where she basically made a counterpoint to someone from Google. I'm sorry, I do not remember the name, but I'm pretty sure in the text description I'll actually have the actual information. But apparently some dude in Google basically... Actually, you know what? I'm going to just put the link on the bottom because that's not really important to what I actually want to talk about. It's just that watching this video reminded me that this particular topic was something I want to talk about. If you want to know what the hell was in the video, I have the link below. Okay, so this is something that I actually wanted to bring up for some time and never really found like the right way to phrase it, and I think I got a way to phrase it now. And this might be long-winded. I'm warning you guys right now. So if you had to look at the, if you could try to find a way to condense all the capabilities and promise of human beings, the thing that keeps us going, the potential of human beings, if you had to find a way to lump it up under one thing, the one thing that allowed human beings to get to the level that they're at and to advance, their knowledge and skills, the one ability that human beings share, all of us share, what would that ability be? What do you guys say it would be? What's the one thing that allowed us to get to the level that we're at in terms of, how we live our lives today and, our civilization and, understanding the world around us? It's the ability to make tools. That's what I say. I mean, if some of you guys might argue with me on that, that's fine. From my perspective, the one thing that has kept us moving forward, or sideways, up, whatever, is the fact that we make tools. That to me is our number one skill. It's our main skill. Now when I'm saying making tools, a lot of people are going to assume the usual mundane type of objects we make. That we make hammers, that we make saws, that we got the wheel. You just see your usual concrete items that we use to get to and fro. But I'm taking this much, much further and deeper than that. I am going to suggest to the viewer that just about everything that we have created is essentially a tool, because that's what we do. Everything that we make is pretty much a tool. Let me just put it in a simpler way. I'm talking to you right now. The reason why I'm able to communicate my thoughts to you is because we have something called language. Language has words to help me convey my ideas to you. Simple ideas are just simple communications. I need water. Can you get me some water, please? Language is a tool of communication. We help to craft that tool so that we'd be able to communicate with one another. Before we had more simpler tools with like certain guttural grunts and sounds, or that sign language, maybe use colors, whatever, symbols, whatever. And then we made it a much more complex tool as the years rolled on. Same thing with writing. Writing is a tool, a way to pass on information and keep it going, generation after generation. It became a more efficient tool than simply just speaking things, because sometimes that can get inaccurate. The game of telephone, how things can get distorted. You write the shit down, and then somebody else can read it, and they can build upon it, make it better, fine-tune it, which is what we do with all our tools, if you notice. We always fine-tune our tools. First you're using a stone for a hammer, then you're melting it down, come up with better ways of making hammers. Now you're using metal, now you're using whatever. Now you come up with a special shape for the hammer. Now you got nails so you can come it down. You got the hook on the end to help take that thing off. Now we got electronic hammers, to do the hammering for us. We always fine-tune our tools. Now, when you look at the idea that everything we do is a tool, and the fact that we always fine-tune it to make it work better, you may start looking at the way we do things a little bit differently. This is what I mean. Like I said, everything that we do in order to get along in life, and to advance in life, and to communicate with one another, and to come up with systems, everything we do is pretty much tools. We make tools. Weapons are tools. They're tools designed to, end the life of somebody else. Horrible tool maybe, but it's a freaking tool. That's what it's for. This, in a sense, we crafted, bottles to hold our water to pass on drink. It's in a weird sort of way. It is a weird kind of tool in the sense that it was designed to hold liquids. Thursday, help quench my thirst. We've come up with different ways of, filling our needs. And the same thing goes for what I'd call the abstract tools. Language, culture, societies, philosophy, religion. All these different things are tools, and each one has a specific purpose. Now, sometimes tools can be improved upon. Other times, tools can be outdated. You don't need them anymore, and then you put them away. You got a better tool, something that does the job that you originally wanted it for. You move on to something else. Like beforehand, religion was originally used as a, I'm not going to say as a way to control people, even though it is. I'm going to say the same exact thing, but with different words. Once again, fine-tuning the tools. People say that religion is a way to control people, which is true, but I'm going to put it in another way. Religion is a way of keeping order. Same damn thing. But it helps you to look at it a little bit differently when you change the word. It was a system of creating order. It was also a system of trying to find ways of examining the world or explaining the world around them. Why is the world this way? Why are we this way? Well, the religion says that's the reason. It worked for its time. Then we came up with more objective ways of looking at the world, and more specific ways and more, more efficient ways, of looking at the world. Science, objective philosophies, things like that. Different ways of, fine-tuning things. And we've come up with better tools. The same thing with systems of control. Before, religion did it, in the sense of saying that God said that you have to do X, Y, and Z, and he made me boss. Later on, we came up with more of a system of, okay, you people say whether I can be boss or not. And we come up with the laws that dictate who gets the rules, not what's fair, what's not, what's just, and what's not. So we fine-tuned that tool. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because we tend to get very, very carried away with our tools, and we sometimes tend to glorify the tool and completely forget about the reason why we made the tool in the first place, or that we are supposed to be the ones controlling the tools. The tool becomes bigger than what it's supposed to be. Let's take guns. In this country, there is a hell of a lot of gun worship going on. It's become a major symbol for freedom and independence, and while I do like that in a sense, that the people of, well, right, I kind of, find it really fascinating how people latched onto the gun because it is a symbol of personal freedom. However, it's kind of become bigger than what it's supposed to be. A fucking tool used for self-defense, or in other people's hands, more of an offensive weapon. And this brings me to another interesting thing about tools. How they are used ends up determining what damage or what benefit they will cause. It's not necessarily the tool's fault. When you find gun people saying, it's not the gun that kills people, people kill people, yeah, I'm sorry for those who get offended by that statement, it is fucking true. Granted, yes, they needed that tool to do it, but the intent is freaking important. Because I can have a gun just laying around, it's not evil in and of itself, but if I go over and then, wipe out an orphanage with it, well, it's still not evil itself, but I'm the evil bastard for going over and blasting the kids. Because I use that tool in that way. Now let's look back at what I'd say the more abstract tools. Politics, systems of government, philosophy, culture, ethics, morality, all these things are tools that we've used to live with one another and try to improve things. These tools have been used for ill, as well as for good. The thing is, we have to realize that that's what they are, just tools. And sometimes we have to realize that since they are just tools, we shouldn't necessarily glorify them just because they happen to suit a purpose. So when you see people, for instance, leaning on certain ideologies, because that ideology happens to fit their particular worldview, they happen to really, really like it. The same way like a carpenter may really like a hammer because a hammer is his favorite freaking tool. Yeah, it's cool, but sometimes it's not exactly the tool you need, and sometimes it may not necessarily even be that good a tool for the job that that you are using it for. It may not fit, the situation. But unfortunately, because people tend to glorify tools, especially if those tools happen to be abstract, we tend to sometimes not realize that it's not fucking working, that it's not, exact. And people get too attached to these tools and they don't want to get rid of them, no matter how fucked up they are. You know, that hammer's looking kind of rusty. It's my favorite hammer. It's the one my daddy gave me years ago. I'll never give it up. The thing's about to break, man. I got a better freaking one right here. I like this one. People get attached to their tools. Just like people get attached, you know, religion. They get attached to certain political viewpoints. They get attached to particular cultural prejudices. And they don't seem to realize that these things were originally there to be tools. To be ways that we, you know, get around and live in the world and try to find ways of advancing. And if the tool is not working very well anymore, it's time to either fine-tune it or throw it away. We have to stop getting attached to the things we make, because we're always going to make something else. That's what we do. We're humans. We create tools, and we're constantly fine-tuning the tools. And then if we find that this tool is not good enough anymore, it's awesome. You can't condemn the tool, and you can't attach yourself too much to the tool. You can't always blame the tool for the problems that are going around. Like, I know it's very, very easy. Let's take once again a very easily picked on tool, religion. It's very easy for us to malign it. Yeah, I'm one of the people that'll agree. Yeah, it's got problems, but at the same time, I understand that the reason why it's become such a problem isn't just because it's obsolete, which is one of the arguments that we make, but also that people have been using that tool in very bad ways. So, it's not necessarily the tool that is causing most of the destruction, but how it has been used. So once again, you're dealing with the people. It's the people you got to deal with, especially since those type of people either are the ones who are purposefully using those tools in a horrible way, or those who are just simply very attached to that tool and just can't let it go. They don't seem to realize it's obsolete or it's not solving the problem. I'm bringing this up not because I'm trying to come up with some answer to problems or whatever. I'm just trying to present a kind of interesting point of view so that when you start arguing, because we're always going to be arguing against religions or political viewpoints, you know, right wing, left wing, you know, how to look at the world, science versus religion, you know, certain philosophies are stupid, and moralities and all that. I just am bringing up this viewpoint so that at the end of the day, we just catch ourselves and realize that what we're really arguing about are just a bunch of tools that we've been using for quite some time and we've gotten very, very attached to. And maybe if more and more of us start looking at these things as what they are, it might be easier for us to kind of either push them aside or fix them to make them work if we no longer glorify them as something bigger than what they are, things that we create to help ourselves, tools. So, yeah. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering how the hell I got that from Zena Jones's video, you're not paying attention. That's all I will say. If you watch her video and you watch this one, you'll see how I branched off on that. So, anyway, enough of that. Catch you guys later.